Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening. We have folks joining us from all over the world. Welcome to today's partner webinar with our good friends Infrascale, titled Faster Failover Starts with a Faster Cloud. We're excited to welcome Infrascale as a Google partner. We launched their disaster recovery as a service solution on GCP on the Google Cloud Platform. Infrascale are visionary in Gartner's DR as a Service Magic Quadrant. And so we're very excited to sort of partner their expertise in DR and backup with the global scalable network of Google Cloud Platform. We have our good friend Chris here today to take us through a bit of the solution. I invite you as a Google partner to consider this as another arrow, another quiver in your arrow bag here for solutions to drive consumption on the cloud platform. Chris, I might hand it over to you, sir.
All right, thank you. Let's see if we can get the slides up here. All right. Oh, I forgot to get the, hold on, full screen effect going on here. There we go. Can you see that or no?
Not yet, nope.
Let's do that again. There's screen. All right. I'm not seeing the slides. Are you seeing the slides? There we go.
Yep.
There. Hey, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us today. I think we've got some really interesting content for you. And as Adam mentioned, this is another great way to increase your customers' footprint in the Google Cloud. I run our channel program here at Infrascale. And if you're interested in talking to us after you've seen what we've got here today, you can take a look at our partner program. Today we're going to cover just kind of the joint solution that we put together with Google Cloud. Now we'll talk about how the cloud is kind of changing the face of disaster recovery in the IT world. We'll cover a little bit about our company and partner programs, and then if we have any time left today, we'll go into some Q&A. So let's do it. So a little bit about our company. We are focused on disaster recovery as a service, and basically what we're trying to do is provide backup and failover capability for customers of all sizes. We've received a couple different pieces of recognition from Gartner. We're a cool vendor in 15, and as Adam mentioned, we're in the disaster recovery as a service Magic Quadrant as a visionary. Company's headquartered in Los Angeles. We've got a global footprint. We've got over 50,000 customers worldwide. We've got closing in on about 1,000 partners. Our partners range from IT service providers and managed service providers to VARs selling into large enterprise, system integrators, and some cloud service providers. Protecting over 1 million devices worldwide at this point. Here's that Magic Quadrant that we mentioned. We're recognized as a visionary in the space. So the thing that's interesting to us about the whole Google Cloud is the performance. The speed and performance that's available in the Google Cloud is incredible. We offer a 15-minute guarantee that we can virtualize any server either on-premise or in the cloud. And our experience with the Google Cloud is that it's almost faster than an on-premise appliance. So really impressive time to virtualize servers of any size. The average boot times that we're seeing are under a minute, which is pretty impressive. It's very scalable, obviously, the Google Cloud. And the scope of the Google Cloud is that it's got that global footprint and supports so many operating systems, which makes it really a general platform for just about any customer in any kind of mixed IT environment. Here's kind of a view of the footprint of the data centers. We've got 14 data centers ourselves scattered around the globe. Google, obviously, tons of footprint all over the planet. So you can get local access to the Google Cloud no matter where you are in the world. Here's how the actual integration between the two products work. We've got two separate products, and we'll look at those a little bit more detail coming up. But Cloud Backup is a direct-to-cloud from the device being a server, workstation, whatnot. Disaster Recovery uses a physical or virtual appliance that's on-premise inside the local area network. All these different operating systems, and we'll look at that a little bit more. But basically, in the direct-to-cloud, there is an agent, software agent that runs on the device. In the case, again, of the appliance or the disaster recovery, there's an on-premise appliance that handles this work. From there, it is sent up into the Google Cloud Platform, and then we'll talk about exactly how these work. All of this stuff is available to be managed through a single dashboard, and we'll give you a look at that as well. And there it is. So this dashboard basically is a very intuitive and flexible GUI interface that lets you break down your entire deployment. If you're a customer, you can see all of your devices, and then within each device, you can see each job, and then on a per job basis, you can set up, frequency of backup, retention. You wanted to restrict how much pipe you use when you're sending data off-site. As a partner, if you're selling disaster recovery as a service and you're managing all your customers, there's one more layer to this where you actually see across all of your customers, and then on a per customer basis, you can go down and then see the per device basis and down to the thing. Once you log into this, you can manage, deploy, and run failovers either on-premise or in the cloud, all through this interface, which is pretty powerful. So the cloud is really starting to show up as a great way to provide uptime for companies that have challenges. And by challenges, we talk about a lot of different things, most of whom are driven by people error being the #1 cause of issues, but lost applications. This could be anywhere from server down to a bug in someone's core application or whatever. But when those things go down, frequently access to those mission critical applications. Lost data, this is one of my favorites. So many PC users don't back up their data at all. And so 25% of users lose some data every year, typically, again, user error. And then there's the lost laptops, which is the stolen machines or just hard drive failure, and again, not backed up. So these are pretty typical environments that we see people losing data or losing access to those mission critical apps today. Ransomware is one of the big drivers. I won't read the slide to you, but just about everybody I know knows somebody who's been affected by ransomware. I speak to partner groups frequently, and if I'm in a room with partners and I ask them, and how many of you have been affected by or had a customer that's been affected by ransomware in the last 6 to 12 months, 90% of those hands go up. So this is happening every day, and it's becoming more and more common. And the phishing emails that are used as point of entry are getting more and more clever. Two of the ones that we see that are most effective, unfortunately, are the Amazon Prime faux emails. You've got a package being delivered and people click that link. And the other one being the emails that looks like it's a scan from a local printer document, and guess what? It's malware. So ransomware mitigation really, if you want to control or eliminate this or just recover from it quickly, there's really kind of layers of protection. There's 3 fundamental pieces to giving your company the best opportunity to survive this experience. First of all, education. This is one that gets skipped frequently. People think they can load antivirus software or anti-malware software on people's endpoints, and that's all they need to do. But it turns out that's not the case. As you've learned, the malware is evolving faster than protection. But training the end users about what not to do, don't click on links, don't open files from people you don't know, is where you should start. The second piece, again, is that industry-leading antivirus, anti-malware type solution, which you definitely need on every machine. But then the third one is to maintain backup and disaster recovery. So in the case where, despite the education, despite the anti-malware software you've got on your machine, things will get through, and then what happens? You better have backup and DR in place. If you do all 3 of these things, then even if malware does get in and infect a network, you can recover pretty quickly. Built some really interesting technology directly into our products that's designed to notify an administrator when they see unusual behavior on any machine in the network. And the way it works is it's looking for a change in behavior on the machine. So if a typical user is changing, say, 30 to 50 files per day, and then one day a backup discovers that they've changed 900 files, it will flag the administrator, hey, take a look at this machine, something's going on. This is a threshold that can be set by the administrator, and you can see what that looks like here on the screen. And you can change the sensitivity to that so that you don't get too many false alarms. But this is a nice early warning indicator that something is going awry in your network, and you should look at this machine. If it is infected, at that point you can pull it off the network, scrub it, and then load the last clean version of the data. So disaster recovery as a service has been kind of an evolution. If you think about backup, it's been around forever. Tape, sure, it works. You can back all your stuff up, but if you have a problem, you got to go find the right tape, and then you have to load the tape, and then you have to restore the stuff, and it could take a long time, especially if that tape is being stored somewhere off-site, which it should be. So hard drive-based backup, came into popularity with the advent of appliances that you can stick on site, and these work much more quickly, but again, you still are copying vast amounts of information back and forth and those kinds of things. And then disaster recovery leverages the cloud and local appliances to make things basically stay up and running in business continuity much more quickly, and we'll take a look at how that works. So we talked a little bit about the styles of disaster recovery that have been around. So offsite tape backup, it's cheap, but it's slow. Cloud backup, but a little more expensive, but a lot faster. Appliance-based backup, a lot more expensive. You're putting that piece of hardware right there on premise, even faster, but the cost is higher as well. Cold site DR, where you've got a whole second set of all the same hardware ready to go at all times, very expensive, but somewhat more performant. Warm site, and then hot site, where you're actually replicating on a per transaction basis. Probably the most expensive way to provide high availability. But with the advent of the cloud, you can now offer that level of performance almost equivalent to a hot site at a much, much lower cost, basically by leveraging the infrastructure that's in the Google Cloud and not having to buy all that additional hardware and have it standing by. So how does that work? So we've got this design. So very simply, if you lose a server or a site, you can fail over very quickly. So here's your end user working away. Meanwhile, there's a local appliance. It's backing up the information on these systems all the time, sending a copy of that to the cloud. So we've got it both locally and in the cloud. Okay, there's your accident. One of the servers blows up. What do you do next? The admin goes into that interface that I showed you earlier and hits the button, and it lights up an image of that server, and it takes over the role of the failed server in the network, and the users are up and running in a matter of minutes. Now, this is the use case. 95+% of the time, it's a single server or workstation that goes down, and occasionally you have a complete site loss. This could be loss of internet connection, could be a flood or a tornado. Less than 5% of disasters that we have seen people use the failover for are site-wide, but in that case, obviously when you go to push that button, you've got to bring that entire environment up, and we can do that in the Google Cloud. And again, the SLA guarantee is of 15 minutes or less for any server. And we've also provided some orchestration so that you can bring up a whole sequence of servers in the right order and get a whole site up and running very rapidly. So it's a very, very powerful solution, and it gives you near hot site type performance without having the expense. How do we do that? Well, we can back up all devices. So in most, backup has always been kind of a server-centric thing historically, where you're backing up physical and virtual servers, but frequently desktops, laptops, and certainly mobile devices like smartphones and tablets frequently not backed up. We have the ability to back up all these devices. The way we do that is through all of the different operating systems that we support. So virtual, Hyper-V, VMware, physical, Windows, Unix, Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. And then you get down to your mobile devices. So we handle iOS and Android. We've also got a granular recovery for folks running on-premise Exchange and SQL Server. And this allows us to pretty much support any mixed environment. Now, the other thing that's really interesting is you've got a couple of different options. We call this your cloud, our cloud, Google Cloud. When you do the backup, whether it's direct to cloud or via an appliance, and you want to send that data off-site to the cloud, you've got choices. We, as I mentioned earlier, have 14 data centers, and you can send that stuff to our cloud. Some customers have stood up their own private cloud, typically for compliance and security reasons, but we can do that as well. And then we're very excited to have released the joint product with Google on the Google Cloud Platform, which I mentioned earlier. Incredible performance, major scalability, and points of presence all over the globe. And you can get the same level of functionality and performance anywhere in the world as a result. Compliance and certification, security are a pretty big part of our story. Roughly 15% of our 50,000 customers are in healthcare, so we do quite a bit within HIPAA. You can do a complete end-to-end HIPAA compliant solution leveraging our offering. All of our data centers are SSAE 16 certified. We've got a number of other badges of compliance and certification, including FINRA and SOX. CJIS, I'd just like to point out quickly, is for law enforcement within the United States. So if you've got police departments or sheriff's offices, they've got very strict rules about how they can offsite their information. And we have one CJIS compliant data center. And so that's making that available to a whole new segment of the government. So the two products, again, briefly, a cloud backup basically uses a software agent on any device and lets you offsite the data directly to the cloud. The disaster recovery offering uses either a physical or virtual appliance that's on site within the local area network and then sends the data offsite. And you can then run virtualized versions of the servers either on-premise on the appliance or in the cloud. I mentioned either physical or virtual appliance. Typically, folks use a physical appliance, but if you wanted to run an appliance within an all VMware or Hyper-V virtualized environment, you have that option as well. And again, the 15-minute guarantee, we've never missed it. And not only that, within the Google Cloud, we're seeing just incredible performance, and sub 1 minute is quite typical. Okay, so really briefly about the partner programs. That's we've covered kind of the solution there. First of all, we are a 100% channel. We don't do any direct business. We are completely focused on working with partners to service their customers. Second thing is we've developed a partner onboarding program that's designed to guarantee that every partner is successful with both selling, supporting, and profitably managing customers using the platform. And the third area is we've got a very innovative pricing model, which is designed to give you a lot of different options in terms of how you price and package this for your customers. And our partners are making on average 30 points of margin on the solution, and it's a monthly recurring subscription. So it's a wonderful way to build up that monthly recurring revenue stream. All partners, when they sign up, have access to these things. I won't read them all to you, but it's a pretty robust partner program. There's a lot of benefits if you join. If you go up in terms of volume, there are some additional benefits that you can get as you get to preferred and elite level. Probably the things I'd like to point out here that are most interesting are dedicated sales and marketing money that we put in place quarterly, and then work with you to spend that money to grow your customer base rapidly. So there's some nice partner co-marketing and co-selling opportunity within the partner program as well. NFR program, traditional not for resale. I'm a big fan of NFRs. I've been working in the channel for 30 years now, and I can tell you from personal experience that partners that use a solution within their own business are much more likely to sell and support that solution with their customers. So we heavily encourage folks to use the NFR program as a best practice. You can use this to protect your own company, or you can use it as a demo unit. And we provide you versions of both products. So this is a 4 terabyte appliance that gives you on-premise and in the cloud disaster recovery capability, and an additional 1 terabyte of direct cloud backup. And these are both available to you to use basically for just about anything you want except for resale. And the cost to the partner is $59 a month. And basically what we're doing there is just barely covering the cost on the hardware. We want to encourage all partners to take advantage of this to protect their businesses. Snapshot of the onboarding program that I mentioned earlier. I won't read these to you, but it's a structured process where you go step by step. At the end of this process, you have got your first deployment, you've got a reference account, you're trained marketing, sales, and technical folks, and you've got a dedicated partner success manager, part of our team out of headquarters that will help support you and answer any questions that you have. A couple of key pieces of this are marketing support. We've got a great partner portal. The Partner Resource Center has a ton of material in it that you can co-brand and rebrand. We do a lot of lead generation, both ourselves and with partners. We ran 20 to 30 partner co-marketing events per quarter. I've got a dedicated partner marketing manager who works with partners exclusively on running these events. And we also have a traditional NFR program to subsidize your cost on some of these events. This is another key element of the partner onboarding program I'd like to point out is our implementation success team, where this is a requirement for every partner on their first deployment to make sure they have a good experience. We assign one of our engineers to work with the partner. We go through step by step to make sure that all the pre-install planning is done properly. On the date that the thing is installed and goes live, you've got live assistance scheduled. You can pull that guy on the phone. You'll never have an engineer or technician on site trying to deploy, stuck waiting for an answer to a question. We'll handhold you all the way through that process. And then typically 1 to 2 weeks later, we'll go back and do test restores and test failovers and make sure everything is working perfectly. So again, good experience for the engineer on site doing the deployment, good experience for the customer, 100% referenceable, happy customer at the end of the process. And this has been really well received by our channel. In summary of our partner program, we are 100% channel focused again. We've got a dedicated sales team around the world. There are field salespeople scattered throughout North America, Europe, and EMEA. We've got an inside team of partner success managers that are embedded within the different geographies. And we have pre-sales engineers also in the field that are available to all of our partners. I just gave you the briefest highlight of our partner marketing programs. There's a lot of great content there that you can take advantage of, as well as working with us directly to run events to drive business for you. Success team we talked about to guarantee success and deployment. And our world-class customer care team is 24/7, based in multiple locations around the world. And they're always available to help you no matter what time of the day. So I'd like to encourage you at this point, if you'd like to learn more about the solution, to check this out and become a partner. We'd be happy to go into a deep dive demo and show you exactly how it works. Take advantage of this solution to increase your footprint within the Google Cloud and bring a whole new service offering to your customers. So if you hit that link or just type that in, that will take you directly to a form on our website that we will follow up with you and schedule the demo. And so I think we got through the content quickly enough. We could go to Q&A with 5 to 7 minutes left.
Thanks, Chris. That was great. Please fill out that form should you want to speak to some folks at Infrascale. You can also reach out to your Google Partner Sales Manager. We've promoted this internally to those folks as well. There's a lot more content behind this as well that we can kind of collectively share with you. But again, consider this as another on-ramp to growing your Google Cloud practice and positioning DR as a solution, growing the consumption of GCP on the back end. I think with that, folks, we'll go ahead and call it here. Again, please reach out should you have any questions. We are happy to help. And thank you all for joining us this morning. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Dean. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.